Hi everyone, I'm Denise Salcedo with Red Carpet Report, and today I'm hanging out with Casey Simpson of Nickelodeon's newest film, Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. Casey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
What do you think about the books that we have here right now?
Man, it's just incredible because I read the book before I got the part, so to see my face on the book is just crazy.
Is this the first time you've seen your face on a book?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my gosh, how's the feeling? You have to tell us.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Like, I went to a Barnes & Noble the other day, and I just saw my face, and I was like, whoa, what's happening?
Well, I would think that by now you're a little used to seeing yourself, in, posters and on TV and all of that stuff. Is it still, nerve-wracking for you, or, new and exciting, or just how does it depend?
Yeah, I still feel a little weird whenever I watch myself in movies or TV, but I've never really seen myself on a book, and that's completely new. You'd think I would have gotten used to it after 10 years, but no, it still feels weird whenever I watch myself.
That's super awesome. So, speaking of the book, did you read the book ahead of time?
Yes. Before I even got the part, I fell in love with Chris Grabenstein's characters and Mr. Lemoncello getting out of the library. So when I found out I got the role, I was just ecstatic because I already knew the story. I already knew Kyle Keeley, my character, and I was just super, super excited to be a part of the film.
So do you think that because you knew the book ahead of time, that's the reason why you were able to apply all these characteristics to Kyle and be able to land that role?
Yeah, for sure. Because when I got the role, I would do this Kyle journal of just what Kyle was thinking that day to get myself more into the character. So before we started shooting, we had 1 week of rehearsal prep, basically. And every night I would write what Kyle thought that day, what he did that day, and I would kind of make it up to kind of get myself immersed to be more like Kyle, because it's such an iconic character. I would want to play it right, I wouldn't want to upset anyone who's read the books and seen the movies, and I really hope I portrayed him how he's meant to be portrayed.
So if we were to get our hands on this Kyle diary journal, what would you think is the most surprising thing that we would find inside of it?
Okay, well, I really try to write whatever Kyle was thinking that day. So I would make up today at school, maybe Chiltington got detention for picking on Peckleman or something. But I would try to make it as specific as possible so I could really feel what it would be like to be Kyle.
So now, is this something that you do for all of your roles, or was it just specifically for Kyle?
So I haven't done this. This is actually the first time I've ever done this, just because I thought that Kyle is a lot different from a lot of the roles I've played. So this was kind of more just a Kyle thing.
So what would you say are the differences between Casey and Kyle and the similarities?
Right, okay, so out of every character I've played in 10 years, I would have to say that Kyle Keeley is definitely the most like myself. We both try to be kind to everyone. We both love to have fun. We're both very competitive. We both love games. There's just so much similarities between us. The biggest difference, I'd say, I'm not sure if you can count it as a difference, but is that Kyle gets to get a real high-tech library, and I don't have a Mr. Lemoncello's library.
Right, you're the only thing, that's the one thing I would switch, right?
Yeah.
That's super awesome. So now, we have this, for the fans of the book who, are excited to see the film, what would you say are the differences or the similar stuff that you guys did, to transfer from the book to the film?
Right. So a lot of it is very similar to the book. It's the same characters, the same basic story arc. There are a few differences, towards the end especially, there's a bit of a plot twist that isn't in the book. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to reveal the whole ending. But we still have the same sections, and of course the biggest thing is that in every story you get this whole nother world just like in the books. One more change is that if you've read the book, you'll know that you get from place to place with this book elevator kind of, but in the movie they're actually flying books. So I thought that was actually a pretty fun change, especially because it looks so much cooler on screen. But a lot of the basic elements of the book is still in the movie.
So that's what I was going to ask you, the flying book, because that looks awesome. It was kind of like a flying hoverboard, but with a book,
Yeah, exactly.
How was shooting that?
Oh, that was a blast, especially because our stunt coordinator had actually worked on some of the James Bond films. So we basically got rigged up in these big harnesses all over, and they were really tight. And then they attached our feet to like this metal box that was disguised as a book. It wasn't really a book. It was completely hollow inside, but it was like this metal box. And then they lift us up in these harnesses, and they give you that feeling of weightlessness for a sec because it's like that direct lift. So it really helps you when you try to act like you're flying. And they just like flew us from place to place on the harnesses, and it was really fun to like pretend like you were flying because it kind of really felt like that.
Were you scared at all?
No, actually, I've done a bunch of harness work before, so I wasn't that scared that time, but it was really cool because you got to go kind of fast, and it was like around this whole room, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, I would think that that's definitely scary, but the fact that you've already done all of this harness work,
yeah.
But was there anything that you guys did in this movie that was a little bit shocking for you in terms of like the production and the setup and all of that?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Well, basically, one of the elements that I'm not used to is there's, of course, a lot of CGI and special effects in the movie, right? So, especially at the end, there's the iconic Scaradactyl moment, and a lot of these monsters, we had to act against, like, big green sticks that were going to be post-production was going to edit into being these monsters. So, when we were really filming, it was just like there's just, like, this tiny green stick that we had to pretend to be so scared of, and I wasn't used to before.
So were you thinking of anything in place of this stick, like, oh, this is my biggest fear, let me put it on the face of this stick?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. It was kind of the whole cast cracked up a few times because we were both supposed to be like deathly afraid of this tiny green stick that was chasing us.
Well, yeah, I saw the film, and I can't ever. What is it? Check the word for the dinosaur?
A Scaradactyl.
Scaradactyl. Okay, Scaradactyl. I would never have imagined that was in place. The Scaradactyl and a stick was like correlating together. Never would have imagined it in a million years. So, what would you say was your best experience or favorite scene to shoot?
My favorite scene to shoot, probably the flying book scene. Actually, one of the biggest things, and I guess all movies, but this movie in particular, we shot like the same scenes across several days, even weeks, but you can't tell. It's like it literally flows so well together. And even in the flying scene, we spent 2 days on that scene. It was actually our last 2 days of production. And so that made it extra special to begin with. But the first day, we just did the regular scene without the flying books. And then the second day was just devoted. The entire day was just devoted to like doing the special effects flying book shots. I think it turned out really amazing. That's one of the reasons it's my favorite. Another reason, of course, it was the last scene we shot. And third of all, it was just a really great experience to work with Klarke and Breanna, my co-stars, in this thrilling like flying book scene.
It's like it was your reward after all the hard work. Now let's go ahead and do some fun stuff, right?
Yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure.
So, in the film, there's all these sorts of like different monsters that come to light. We see Frankenstein, we see the evil witch.
Yeah.
Which of those characters were one of your favorites to see?
Okay, I would probably have to say, I said, either Hansel and Gretel or Frankenstein. Frankenstein because the actor who plays Frankenstein, shout out to John, he actually did a wondrous portrayal. I really liked the makeup especially. He did an incredible job as Frankenstein, but also Hansel and Gretel, because for some reason, throughout the whole movie, they're supposed to be really good with the bow and arrow, but they miss us every time.
Oh my god!
But I thought the Hansel and Gretel characters were really nice and cool, and they actually I don't know how to say it. They heightened, if you can call it, or higher pitched their voice in post production. So when we saw the movie, we were all shocked because we didn't know that was happening. So we were like, wait, that wasn't. Jeez, I can't speak English. That wasn't what it was like when we were shooting.
And were Hansel and Gretel one of your favorites growing up, or did you have any specific favorite
Ooh,
books?
that's a tough question. Growing up, I definitely fell in love with the Harry Potter and Percy Jackson series. I really loved those two growing up, and especially the Percy Jackson spin-off, The Heroes of Olympus, I really enjoyed.
That's super awesome. Now, we talked about there's all these magical stuff in the film. Did you get to take home any props?
Okay, so not necessarily from the film, but we all got to take home our chairs because it said Casey Simpson, Kyle Keeley escaped from Mr. Lemoncello's library, and I thought that was really cool. It might not sound that cool, but basically it had the whole logo on it, and there was so much history behind it. So, but one thing that we did get, our wardrobe department was actually so kind that they took photos throughout the whole trip, and then at the very last day they gave each of us our very own USB drive, and it contained all the photos that they took, and that was a really special moment.
That's super nice. You should do a scrapbook or something.
Yeah.
Where do you have the chair at home now?
Okay, so I keep it. One day I hope, like, from all my roles in like 20 years, I just have like this big table of chairs of like each of the roles just facing each other. That's my goal. But right now, I just keep it in my room as like a memory, you know?
That's super awesome. Well, I think that if you collect all these chairs and then put them around in the dinner table, I feel like when people come over, you might be really careful with them. You'd be like, no, don't touch those, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Especially if they're like 20 years old or something, you know?
Exactly. Or like a little baby or something. You just
Yeah.
never know. All right, so now if you were to switch gears, you know, instead of being Kyle, if you were Mr. Lemoncello, what books do you think you would want to come to life in your library?
Woo! What a question. Probably Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. Wait, that would open like a paradox.
That'd be, yeah.
Because if the library was open, but then the story opened into the library opening, that'd just be crazy.
The story was in a story, for sure.
I'd definitely have to say Harry Potter. Just because, first of all, if I was a wizard, well, that'd be just great. There's so much I could do there. But even if I wasn't a wizard, the wizarding community would have to let me in because I would already know everything about it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'd probably have to say the Harry Potter universe because that one is so cool and so practical. Like, the Percy Jackson universe is also really cool, but I wouldn't say it's as practical, especially if, like, there are a bunch of gods fighting. So I'd have to say that Harry Potter universe would also be a really fun universe to be in.
Well, what about the puzzles? You know, is there a certain puzzle that you would add in your library if you had a bunch of kids trying to escape from your library?
Yeah, I'd probably have to have, just like Mr. Lemoncello did, as many riddles as possible. I've always thought of having, like, this big dream home that's like a maze to get in, but, like, you have to actually solve these riddles just like Mr. Lemoncello does.
So now, you know, there's a lot of escape rooms right now. They're really popular.
Yes, for sure.
Have you done any of them? I mean, obviously from what you did in the film, separate from that.
Yeah, okay. So actually, I've been meeting up with a bunch of my friends. We've been meaning to go, but so far I've only done one escape room. It was actually a few months ago. It was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas, and it was me and my friend, and we were trying to escape, right? And, for example, there was this one obstacle. It was like you had to figure out these clues on how to get the code to make this toy car slide down this tube to get out, and it contained your next clue or something. And then I just thought, wait, I can just climb up and grab the car. And my mom was like, no, you can't do that. That'll be breaking the rules. But then afterwards, because we didn't finish in time, but there was another time where we were supposed to throw these balls to hit the target, but I could have easily just climbed under the fence and just hit them all. And afterwards, again, my mom said I couldn't do it, but then they said that would have been totally okay, and we probably would have finished in record time.
Well, I think the thing is that probably in these escape rooms, you're supposed to think outside the box. Like,
exactly.
Here you are thinking outside the box,
Thank you.
Not Mom. So Mom, you're like, Mom ruined that for me. That's funny. Okay, well, what about scavenger hunts? Because you guys also do a scavenger hunt. Have you done any scavenger hunts like at parties or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually have done a few scavenger hunts. I don't have any particular crazy stories about them. They were just, chill, regular scavenger hunt. I don't think I did that well, though.
That's super cool. All right, so for those of us who, for those of those who haven't seen the film yet, what would you say to them to watch it, and how would you describe it to them?
Okay, so basically, Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library, it's a lot different from the typical Nickelodeon movies because it really has its own unique tone, and I think it's such an incredible adventure, and it takes the audience with the characters on the adventure. That's one of my favorite parts, so you can really feel like you're going on this adventure with Kyle and Mr. Lemoncello and Akimi. It's just, in my opinion, one of the greatest ever adventure films.
That's awesome. So now, before we go, I don't know if you know this, but today is National Poetry Day.
It is?
Yeah, apparently I found it out on Twitter, so that's how you find out anything these days. Okay, so what I want to know is, do you have any favorite poets or any favorite poems or anything like that?
Okay.
Or do you write poetry? You just never know.
No, I don't actually write poetry, but I guess this isn't very a smart answer, but I'd have to say Dr. Seuss. It's one of the few poets, if you can call him, that I actually know. So.
That's awesome. What about, have you ever played the rhyming game, where people are like, can you rhyme a word with this word or stuff like that?
No. Should we play it?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay,
let's do it.
Let's just do it. You know what? I'm gonna do it in terms of, I'll just say a word, you say one, and then I'll give you another one. Come up with something to rhyme with it.
Got it. Okay.
Let's do Harry,
Larry,
Potter,
Otter,
Charlotte.
Webb. No. No. Charlotte, Scarlet.
All right, Webb.
Webb, Dead.
Doctor?
Oh, no, okay.
I'm tricking you.
Doctor. This is harder than I thought. Dr. Proctor. That's a word, right?
I'll count that.
Okay,
I'll count
sweet.
that. Okay, what about Seuss?
Moose.
Goosebumps.
Loose humps.
Lemoncello.
Melon Dello.
And last one, Casey.
Facey.
All right, there you go. All right, guys, Casey Simpson, everybody.
And be sure to tune in to Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library on October 9th on Nickelodeon at 7 p.m.